podcast may contain mature themes, and if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Like the podcast. Nailed it!
Under attack, always coming in last, bringing up the past. No one owes you anything, I think. You need a shotgun blast, a kick in the ass, so paranoid. Watch your back.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Sorry, we're a little late this morning. Preparing for a little trip out of town, so I had to take Stacy to work this morning. Went and had breakfast, and then picked up my mom, ran some errands. So I am now back in the studio. I need to find a sponsor for the studio. That's what I need. Some fancy sponsored studio. And so anybody have any ideas for that? Let me know. But, what I want to do is I had kind of a, I don't know if it's an epiphany or a decision or a feeling or what have you, but what I end up writing, I want to read to everybody, and then kind of talk about what it actually means. So having a career change can have different effects on different people. Now, I, for one, will look at it as a challenge and an opportunity, if you will. I'm not your typical cookie cutter fit in the box person. Everything I've done in my life and in my career I've accomplished has been a result of hard work, showing up every day with a smile and a handshake, a willingness to learn and adapt, and never being afraid to fail. Failure can only make you better. My resume may not check every box you need when I apply. I live to help others. I have a proven track record of dedicating my life to the betterment of others. When you hire me, you will not find a more hardworking, loyal, passionate person dedicated to achieving your goals. I just kind of decided I'm going to tackle this job search a little differently. I was on a call yesterday with an opportunity. And the kind person that I was talking to asked me, she said, you have all this experience and all these other things. Why do you want to do this? And I had referenced to her at some point. I said, something personally that had happened to me has kind of changed my outlook in life. And so when she asked me that question, I thought, in a normal job interview, I wouldn't talk about this. But what have I got to lose, right? Kind of what I said. Failure doesn't make me afraid. One of the question she asked was, part of the job is to go to some very big, important individuals and secure and ensure donors and things like that for this nonprofit organization. And she said, that's a lot of pressure. And, how do you go into those rooms and how do you not be afraid to do that? And I said, this might seem cliche and it might seem hyperbolic, but it's truly what I feel. So I'm going to be honest with you. And 5.5 years ago, when I went through cancer and thought I was staring a certain death, let's be 100% honest with you. Afterwards, I didn't know this, but the doctor told me after my first appointment and walking out of there, he said I wouldn't have gave you a 5% chance of surviving. So when she asked me that question, I said, staring that kind of stuff in the face, it's pretty easy to not be scared that somebody might tell me no. I'm not afraid of that job. I'm not afraid of that opportunity, especially if the answer being yes means that other people are going to be helped. I wouldn't normally have that kind of conversation in a job interview. It's usually, well, this is what's on my resume, and this is what I do, and this is what I accomplish here, and tell me a time that you were, professionally. So that's all bullshit. Okay, it's all bullshit. Am I smart enough to do the job? Yes. And I get why they have to ask these questions and things like that. And there's people out there that are way smarter than I am. But I'm just here to tell you, I'm done being the normal cookie cutter interview type thing. I'm going to tell you what I really believe and what I really think and who I really am. And you're going to be beneficial from that. And last night I took a trip down to Revelton to talk to Rob. And I sat down and him and I and Stacy had a drink and we were talking. And this leads me into my next topic about people that are inspiring. Rob and Christy are just so inspiring to me. I told him once that there are a lot of times I may want to tweet something or send something out or whatever. And I think to myself, and I think, is this something Rob would do? And I know that sounds stupid to some people, but when you value people's opinions and hold them in such a high regard, you try to live up to that, especially when they've shown so much faith and friendship in you, and you don't want to disappoint that. I could sit there and talk to him and then afterwards run through a brick wall because he's so positive and so supportive of Three Beards, of us, of Old Man Strength, of me personally. But not just business wise, just on a personal level and a friendship level. And that is kind of the same way I felt with our guest on Old Man Strength, Coach John Walling. If you search on your Apple podcast, and if you're listening to this, you probably know about Old Man Strength, but we had Coach John Walling on. And Coach is an amazing individual. He is unbelievably smart, unbelievably kind. You talk about a guy that you would run through a brick wall for. I'm going to bring up a tweet here that we have with him. We always ask on Old Man Strength the Wintrust, Kyle Lehman, Wintrust Mortgage question of the day. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up this tweet. I need a producer. That's what I need. That can do all this stuff while I'm talking and then I'm not pausing or whatever else. Okay, here we go. Let's bring this up. Present, share screen, Old Man Strength, share. John Wall, with all his knowledge and goes back and can give one piece of advice to John Walling 15 years ago. What's that piece of advice that he's going to give 2008 John Walling?
When I was growing up, I always thought you had to be the best. But then if you're not, there's nothing else. Right? Because everybody else that's not the best aren't the best. So only one person got something out of that. Versus being your best. And George, you talked about, every day you get up and you do something immediately to start the day out to make it be your best, right?
Yep.
And so I know you don't think I listen, George, but I listen to you very, very intently. I'm serious. And you too, Christopher. Honestly, I learn from everybody. And I never stop learning because Lord knows I got a lot to learn. But I really mean that. And I hope and I pray that not just my 3, but every child I got to, every young person I got to come in contact with, teaching or coaching, that they took, that's something that they could take, is that I never, and they should never expect themselves to try to be the best. That's out of your control.
Powerful stuff, man. He's definitely right. And that really resonated with me, right? Like, I don't have to go into a job and be the best. I don't have to be the greatest. I just have to be the greatest of who I am and what I can do. And that's going to take care of it all itself. And we had kind of related that to about a year ago when Coach Campbell was getting some heat about, I never said that our goal was to win the Big 12 championship. Our goal was to be the best versions of ourselves. You be the best version of yourself. You do your best and what the best is that you can do. And those things will take care of itself. That's the best. I don't know. It's the best advice that I can give you on that deal. I always struggle with how to end these things. I need to find something cool to do an exit with or something like that. But I just don't have anything. It's Friday. Everybody have a good time. Beware of the snow. If you can make it down, go to Rebelton Distilling Company. If you're going to be making food at home, check out Brown Dogs Farms. Robin and Amanda, get some spicy ranch. Their jalapeno green apple. Their hot sauces are amazing. Super Bowl's coming up. Make sure you stock up with that. And I think next week we're going to have part 2 of Caitlin Walker going through the first-time homeowners bias for Wintrust. So with that, peace out. Nothing but love. Have a great night.